everyone, my name is Alex Paolino, and I am going to be presenting my Experiencing Literature, Observing Myself as a Critical Reader presentation. The first thing I am going to explore is my understanding of the reader response theory. The reader response theory is the way in which a reader connects to the text. This can be done by connecting to the plot, character, setting, author, or various other things in the story. The reader response theory is important because it is the way that the reader then interprets what the writer has written. This is accurately demonstrated in this picture. When the writer is done writing, the reader then needs to take the passage a step further to interpret underlying messages. Someone can also make an emotional connection to the text. The reader response theory has helped me in our various readings throughout class because I have been able to connect to each reading in a different way. There are different things that I observe in myself as a critical reader. Before I read a passage, I first look it up. This helps me because I then have background of the text. Here is a synopsis of George Orwell's Shooting an Elephant, written by a college professor, so I know that it is accurate. When I am reading, I annotate a text. In order to do so, I highlight, underline, circle, or draw on the paper. This is a picture of me annotating George Orwell's Shooting an Elephant. When I have finished reading, I then write a summary. Writing a summary allows me to help to make sure that I have accurately understood the text and I am not missing anything that the author has written in terms of plot, character, or setting. I've learned to make connections between my classes or different things that I've learned throughout my education. Here I'm connecting my Art of Thinking class to my Experiencing Literature class. I used GoConquer, a digital tool, in order to make this mind map. Making connections and decoding symbols are actually quite similar. In Art of Thinking, you are decoding mathematics symbols, just as in literature class you are decoding the author's meaning. Both require critical skills. In Art of Thinking, you need to use critical thinking skills, just as in Experiencing Literature, you need to use critical writing or reading skills. Another digital tool that I often use is something called iAnnotate. iAnnotate allows me to use my critical reading skill of annotating, but instead, I do this digitally. iAnnotate allows me to then share my annotations with my classmates, which can be helpful for a group project. Here I have annotated Shooting an Elephant by George Orwell, as you can see. iAnnotate is also ecologically friendly, which is very helpful. An aha moment that I had in our class was when I connected Of Mice and Men by John Steinbeck to Shooting an Elephant by George Orwell. Both do not want to kill someone they care about. George does not want to kill Lenny, just as Orwell does not want to kill the elephant. Orwell and George both feel as though Lenny and the elephant respectively deserve better. Both George and Orwell ultimately kill their respective targets because of the fact that they both killed something else. The elephant killed a man in Burma, just as Lenny killed a woman. What ultimately led to the shootings is that both the elephant and Lenny are normally peaceful and harmless beings, but they both caused harm, which led to their deaths. Thank you for listening to my presentation.